Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is Monday and every Monday now I am creating a video on being vegan, vegan cooking, or vegan nutrition. And it dawned on me today that I have never made this video before. When I planned on making a YouTube channel at first, I remember this was on the top of the list of videos to make. So I'm not gonna go fully in depth of my beliefs on veganism and all of that. I will in future videos. On this one, I just want to explain what led me on this path almost 14 years ago. I have been vegan since my 16th birthday. My parents gave me some money to do whatever I wanted with on the morning of my birthday, so I love to read. I was kind of a library nerd through high school. I was always at the library after school. So I took that money and I went to the bookstore and I got a book called Skinny Bitch. And I've actually seen that this book has made a lot of people, especially women, go vegan. And the title obviously is what gets a lot of people's attention. And at the time, I was into fitness training and I was only 16. So I started going to the gym when I was 11, which sounds kind of crazy to me now, but the gym has always been a part of my life. And at the time I was really interested in modeling. I just started modeling and I was interested in beauty and fitness and really a lot of outward appearances, and I was fully distracted with everything that was outside of me. So as you can imagine, if you followed my YouTube, I've done a lot of soul searching the past decade or so and turned all that attention inward. So anyways, I went to the bookstore looking for something on fitness and nutrition. And I grabbed this book. I liked the title. I liked the write-up on it. And I remember skimming over it and seeing something about being vegetarian, or quickly looking in the book and seeing that. And I remember my thought being something like, oh, those crazy vegetarians, because I didn't actually know what it was. I think I must have heard somewhere when I was younger that it's like a cult or something. So I remember thinking that, but I still liked the book and I got the book. I sat down and that evening for my birthday, I was going to have a pizza date with my friends. Before I got ready or anything, I started this book. And it's the only book in my entire life so far that I read from first page to the last page in one sitting within like a few hours. And that is because as soon as it got into veganism, I was absolutely appalled and heartbroken. I was crying my eyes out. So growing up, I always, from as long as I could imagine, like since I was 4 years old, whenever someone asked, do you know what you want to be when you grow up? I always said, I want to save endangered species. I want to go over to Australia and save koalas. That was my thing, and I was obsessed with koala bears, but I loved animals, and from a very young age I was always studying endangered species. So I really wanted to help animals when I grew up. And somehow, within 16 years, I had never really put it together that I was eating them, because I ate whatever my parents gave me. So my mom puts it on the table and I'm grateful for her cooking, I'm grateful for her food, I'm not going to complain, and I'm not going to question what they're feeding me. When you're young, you think your parents are heroes and they have all the answers, and like, at least I know I did. I didn't think they could do any wrong. And then as you get older, you start to see them as just another human like you. So in that moment, and it got into a little bit about factory farming, and I think I actually threw up. I felt so horrible. I felt like such a hypocrite that I was saying I wanted to save animals and then I was supporting this. And of course I had never heard of factory farming, so I didn't know any better. And the fact that it took me that long to put it together is why I can be compassionate and understanding for others who, say, are in undeveloped countries that I travel to. And miseducation or uneducation is a really big part of it. I'm going to get to that in a moment, but I'll explain still with my birthday. After that, I cried, I read the whole book, and I said I would never eat meat or dairy again. I told my family, and they just thought, oh, okay, this is gonna be another phase that Krystal's going through, and my friends laughed at me. I finally went for dinner. I was late because I was a mess, and I went to dinner, I got my first vegan pizza, and everyone kind of laughed at me because back then, no one was vegan. I didn't know anyone, especially in my hometown or the town I was living in at the time. And I knew that I wouldn't because I was absolutely disgusted at the fact that I was eating animal flesh, and I just, for so long, for my whole life. And there's multiple reasons why. Number one is definitely animal cruelty, the way that they're treated, the way that they're bred just for meat and killed and tortured through their whole lives just to be murdered. So, and I went a little bit fanatic at first. I was angry. I was upset that I had been lied to. I started reading all these controversy books, and I was mad at the government. I was mad at the food industry, and I became like an angry little teenager and heartbroken too. I was so sad that all these things were happening in the world, and so many people, I felt like everyone was brainwashed, and I wanted to help them, but not everyone was listening. So if you're not vegan and you think, oh, those crazy vegans, it's because people are passionate about helping others, and some people come off a little bit too strong about that. So I was a full activist for a few years in my town that I was living in. I went on the streets and handed out flyers. I showed videos at different community nights. And as time went on, I started to study more of the impact that being vegan has on the environment. And I learned more about the planet and the issues that we're facing on it right now, on the economy, on the worldwide crises of so many different things. Specifically, so many people in countries that I've traveled to starving to death. And I know that all those fields that we raise cattle on, to how much are they eating a day and how much space are they taking up? If we use those fields to make grains, how many grains would we have? You know, it's just, I know we're breaking out of the pattern now. When I first became vegan, no one knew what it was, and everyone thought I was crazy. There was no vegan restaurants anywhere in Canada that I went to. In the big cities, yeah, but no towns knew what it was. And it's been really, really amazing for me to travel all around the world while being vegan, and just seeing the shift in the past 12 years, really, since I've been traveling. Vegan restaurants are popping up everywhere. Yoga studios are popping up everywhere. And it's what I knew in my heart would happen. But of course, there's times where it was discouraging, and I wasn't sure if if this shift was actually taking place. But now I can feel it so strong, more than ever, especially the last 2 years. People are waking up to many things, including what they're putting into their body and the suffering that it comes along with, the emotions that they're absorbing while they're doing that. Actually, yesterday was a very exciting day for me. My mom, who has eaten meat her whole life, and my dad, they're not very big into health at all. She just texted me yesterday and said that she made her first vegan dinner with vegan hamburger meat. And I honestly almost cried. I wasn't pushing it on them at all. I tried at first, but I realized they're going to do whatever they want. I can't make anyone make better choices or make choices that I feel are better for the planet and for themselves. But they started and they liked it last night, their first dinner, so if anyone is interested in being vegan, I would suggest a lecture that I show some of my friends who are interested is by Yourofsky. And there's a lot of controversy with this activist. He's done some pretty extreme things, but I like the way that he talks, and he's very to the point, and he's very well educated on the topic. So there's a lecture that he gave at, I don't remember where it was. I don't think it's Yale. One of the big universities in the States. I can't remember right now. But he gave a really amazing lecture. I think it's an hour long. It's on YouTube, so I would recommend that. I don't really watch the documentaries because I'm already vegan. I know what happens to the animals is absolutely horrible, and I don't want to endure an hour of watching them suffering. But I would recommend Cowspiracy. That was really good, and it doesn't show a lot of the brutalities happening in animal farms. Those are some recommendations I have, and there's so many resources online now. It's just incredible. I'm not trying to push this lifestyle on anyone. Through my spiritual path and my spiritual journey, I have come to realize that we can't push anything onto anyone else. They are here on the level of consciousness that they're meant to in this lifetime. And I completely understand that not everyone is going to become vegan in this lifetime. Eventually, the shift is happening and people will wake up. And I think this new generation that's coming in, that's younger than me, like early teens right now, are very conscious. But then there's the other side that's has all these electronics and they're kind of zombies. I've seen this firsthand. So I'm interested to see what way it goes, but in terms of making more compassionate choices, I think we're really waking up to that. And a part of that is also remembering that we're one, and as we go onto a spiritual path, we feel that oneness with everything. I was at a temple one time and these young kids came in and asked the Swami, do we have to become vegetarian if we follow this path that you're talking about? And the Swami answered, you don't have to become anything, but I guarantee you that once you start it, you will become vegan or vegetarian because you feel connected to all beings on the planet, and there's no way that you can condone or continue to support that amount of suffering, and aside from that, it's unnatural. I just don't find factory farming or raising anything to be killed or any way that we're going about the meat and dairy industry whatsoever, even there is no ethical way to murder animals. And I think as a species, as humanity, we can do a lot better than that. And one thing I like that Yourofsky said was it took us 300 years to finally realize that black slavery was wrong. How many years do you think it will take to realize that animal slavery is wrong when they don't have a voice? The shift's happening, but it's going to take time. If any of you have any questions on veganism, please comment below and I'll answer whatever I can. Please be kind. I have noticed that people can get pretty aggressive on the comments with anything to do with veganism. I'm going to be posting a lot more on it, so those comments just get deleted, so please don't waste your time being mean to other people on the internet. We all have different paths, we have all different realities. I'm not judging yours, you don't have to judge mine, and I'm also not attacking yours. But I can say if you do feel defensive for your choices, that you should maybe meditate on it and figure out why that is. Alright you guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and comment below and let me know how you became vegan as well if you happen to be vegan. And for more videos like this, to see my upcoming videos on this topic as well as cooking videos, hit the subscribe button. And I will see you all again soon.